Good evening, all. Welcome for this session. In this session, we are going to discuss about metals and nonmetals, its physical properties and chemical properties. Welcome, all. Hope my voice is audible to everyone. Shall we start the session? If voice is audible, I'm going to start the session. Hope there won't be any session at 7 p.m. Is there any intimation of any other online session at 7? Okay. So Kirti responded as audible. So in this session, we are going to discuss about physical properties of metals and nonmetals. And meanwhile, we'll continue with some of the chemical properties of metals and nonmetals. In the previous session, we discussed under classification of metals and nonmetals and also metallites under the topic periodic table. All the metals possess positive ion as they donate electrons. The metals always donate electrons. When the metals donate electrons, obviously they'll get plus charge, that is positive ion. In the same way, the nonmetals accept the electrons. When the metals donate the electrons, and that donated electrons will be easily accepted by the nonmetals. Hence, they carry minus, that is negative ions. Hope this concept is cleared. All metals will donate electrons. All nonmetals will accept electron. When the metals donate electrons, they will get plus ion. When the nonmetals receive the electrons, they'll get minus. Is that clear to everyone? If the concept is cleared, we'll go for next point. Okay, I think everybody understood this concept. The metals will donate electrons. The nonmetals will receive electrons. Okay, hence the metals will get positive ion and the nonmetals will get negative ion. Now, we are going to discuss the physical properties of metals. And meanwhile, I'll go with difference with nonmetals. The first and foremost important property of the metals are they show metallic luster. What is this metallic luster? Shining. All metals have shining surface. All metals have shining surface. This property is called metallic luster, whereas the nonmetals are non-luster. The nonmetals doesn't possess shining surface, hence they are considered as non-luster. But there are some exception among the nonmetals, that is iodine, silicon. Iodine and silicon, they show luster. Luster means shining. When you walk on a sand, you find shiny silicon, right? Even iodine is also shiny. Iodine and silicon is exception case in nonmetals. Other than that, all metals are having metallic luster, whereas nonmetals doesn't have this property. Hope everybody got this idea. Want me to repeat this property or shall we move on next property? Okay, many of you all replied as yes, it is cleared. Okay, very good. If it has been cleared, the questions may be asked in your board exam. That is, what is metallic luster? Metallic luster is the metals have shiny surface. That property is called metallic luster, whereas this is not found in non-metals. But exception case, iodine is exception, silicon is exceptional. Other than that, non-metals doesn't show this property. Okay, we'll go for next point. Ductility and malleability. So I'll show one image. You just look at the image. So this is copper metal in the left side, and the copper metal has drawn into thin wires. The copper metal is drawn into thin wires. The ability of metals to be drawn into thin wires is called ductility. And this is the best example to show ductility. And which is the best example of ductility? The gold is the most ductile metal. Along with that, even copper also. Ductility means, this will be asked in your board exam. What is ductility? The ability of metals to be drawn into thin wires. The ability of metals into thin wires is called ductility. Gold is the most ductile metal. And this ductility is not found in non-metals. Non-metals doesn't show ductility. Look at this image. So, this image shows that when metals are beaten into thin sheets, and that property is called malleability. I'll repeat. When metals are beaten into thin sheets, and that property is called malleability. Gold and silver are the most malleable metals. Remember, even under ductility, gold is the most ductile metal. Even in the malleability, gold and silver are the most malleable metals. What is malleability? Some metals can be beaten into thin sheets, and that property is called malleability. Hope everybody got what is the difference between malleability and ductility, right? Okay, what is ductility? Give example. What is ductility? Give example. I'm waiting for your reply. What is ductility? Give example. I'm waiting for your reply. Still I didn't get any reply. Yeah, the examples are good. Gold, copper are the good examples for ductility. Even you have seen the image of that, right? Good. The examples are good. What is ductility? The metals drawn into thin wires. The metals drawn into thin wires is called ductility. Yes, all of you answered correctly. And which is the best good example for malleability? Which is the best good example for malleability? Yes, Revati correctly answered. I forgotten who is under Yogesh. I think it is Varalakshmi. Correctly answered, Varalakshmi. Yes, Priyanka, even you answered correctly. Good answer. Yes, all of you answered gold. Gold and silver. Gold and silver are the best malleable metals. I think this three properties are very well cleared. So all metals are showing metallic luster. They are very good in showing the property like ductility and malleability. And all these three properties are not found in non-metals except iodine showing the luster. Other than that, it is not found in non-metals. Remember, you have to compare the metals with non-metals. If it is found in the metals, definitely that may not exist in non-metals, but few will be exceptional. And that exceptional should be remembered very well for your board exam. Okay. Again, I'm going to share the screen. Look at the screen. Okay. Are connected to the conducting wire. Okay, sorry for disturbance. It happens, right? And that too, the students will do the mistakes, right? They know there is a live session right now, but still they feel very bold to disturb the session, right? Don't do this mistakes when you know the timings. When you know the timings of live session, at that time, try to don't disturb the sessions. Okay? And this is the message for everyone. Not only for Savita, for everyone. Okay. So, when you saw the picture, in the picture what was given? Battery, and it is connected to the bulb. And how it was connected? It was connected with the help of wires. And that wires are clipped. It was clipped, right? And when it is connected to the battery, definitely it will conduct electricity. The bulb will glow, right? Now you just observe the image clearly. So there is a battery. Battery is connected to the bulb. Have two clips with a gap. Now you want to test whether metal will conduct the electricity or non-metal will conduct the electricity. Now, just place any iron nail between the clips. Then you find the bulb will glow. Why the bulb will glow when it is connected with the iron nail? Iron nail is a metal. Metal easily conducts electricity. Okay, clear? And now in between the clips, you remove the iron nail. You place any paper, charcoal, okay, wood piece, plastic, something other than the metal. Okay, between the two clips. Do you think that the bulb will glow? Do you think that the bulb will glow when it is connected to a plastic, wood, a paper? Now all of you gone through the image, right? Even you all heard my question. When the clips are connected to the wood piece or glass piece or charcoal or plastic, do you think that the bulb will glow? Yes, Priyanka. Revati answered no, because they are not good conductors, right? So by this experiment, clearly we'll come to know that all metals will conduct electricity, whereas non-metals doesn't conduct electricity. Okay, now you just keep a piece of graphite in between the clips. A graphite is a carbon source which is a non-metal, right? You all studied about graphite under the session carbon and its compound. Do you remember? Graphite? And now you just keep the graphite in between the clips. Do you think that the bulb will glow? When it is connected to the graphite, do you think that the bulb will glow? Yes, Revati answered yes. It will conduct the electricity and hence the bulb will glow. Yes, Revati, it is correct answer. Well said. And many of you all answered correctly. Yes, graphite, even though it is a non-metal, it shows some exception property. All non-metals doesn't conduct electricity, But graphite, even though that is a non-metal, it will conduct electricity. Okay, is that clear? Yes, Priyanka, it is exception. Well said. Okay. So, all metals are good conductors of electricity, whereas all non-metals are bad conductors of electricity except graphite. Okay. Now, let me have one more image. Okay, you can see which metal will show highest conductivity. Electric glance up on this. Lead show least conductivity, that is 8. And you can see copper, other than silver it is copper, and then gold, and then aluminium, magnesium, zinc, nickel, cadmium, cobalt, iron, platinum, tin, lead. So you can see the series of reactivity of conductivity and also thermal conductivity. So in such a manner, the metals will show conductivity nature. Now you can see another image. This is the best experiment to show the metals are good conductors of heat. This is the best example showing the metals are good conductors of heat. Okay, so many of our houses we come across the metallic containers used for making dishes. We use metallic containers as cooking vessels, right? Cooking utensils. Why we use metallic containers as cooking vessels? Why we use it? Why we use metallic containers as cooking utensils? Why? I'm waiting for your reply. Why we use metallic containers for cooking? Very simple answer. Even primary students, they were so knowledgeable. They will answer for this question. PSS Real Show. Thanks for your visit and thanks for your thumbs up. And thanks a lot for your kind appreciation. Thank you for visiting. Yes, Priyanka answered very well. They are good conductors of heat. Revati, what is related with coating? Yes, heating property. Arpita, so brilliant. She always gives a graphical picture for the answer. Okay. Okay. Revati, it's not a matter of coating. It is only the metal. We use cooking utensils, cooking vessels because they will conduct heat and it makes the cooking fast and it saves LPG gas. Clear? So because of that, we use the metallic cooking vessels because They are very good conductors of heat. The cooking will become faster, and meanwhile it saves LPG gas. So it's always better to use copper utensils as we gone through the list reactivity, right? Copper places second rank in conducting, right? So it is better to have copper utensils in our house for cooking purpose. But remember, don't use copper containers in order to store what we should not store in copper utensils. Lemon and other citric components are not stored in copper containers. The citric and other acid based components are not stored in copper containers because they react with the acid. Citric acid is the component of lemon, right? Easily the copper will react with the acid. Hence, we should not store the sour components, acid based components in copper containers. Remember, this will be the application question. This may also asked in your board exam. Okay, we'll go again with the image. In the image, you can see end of the wire. Okay, now the pin is attached to the wax. At other side, you just give the heat to the metal wire. From other side, opposite to the wax, you just give heat. Now, we want to prove that the metal wires are good conductors of heat. I am just providing heat at another end. Within a few seconds, the heat will get transferred till the end. The wax will get melted and the pin will drops down. This is the best experiment everybody, even we can do in our home. Keeping a long metallic wire, attach the wax and attach a small pin for it. You just give heat to the other end and you can see that the wax will get melted and the pin will get dropped. This is the best experiment to show all metals are good conductors of heat. Okay, in the image you all come across one experiment. What happens to the pin which is attached to the wax at the free end of the wire? When you heat the wire from the opposite side, what happens to the pin? Whether it will stick on to the wax or will it drop down when you give heat at the opposite side of the metal? I am waiting for your reply. Yes, Revati answered correctly. It will drop down. Very good, Revati. And even Priyanka also answered correctly. It drops down because all metals are good conductors of heat. Good response. So we'll move on for the next concept. Okay, till now we discussed on some of the properties of metals and non-metals. Okay, the first property is luster. All metals are lustrous. They show shining property. Whereas all nonmetals are non-lustrous except iodine and graphite. You can consider graphite also here. Next, malleability. All metals shows malleability, that is gold and silver. Non-metals are non-malleable except carbon fiber. There is one example. The carbon fiber is exception that can be drawn into wires. Next property is ductility. All metals are ductile, where the metals are drawn into thin wires. Example, gold and copper. All nonmetals are non-ductile. Exception, carbon fiber that can be malleable and also ductile. Carbon fiber is exception. All metals have strength. They show tensile strength. Whereas non-metals doesn't show. Okay, again it is one of your friend. Okay, not anybody else. Your friends are disturbing the session. Huh? Okay, still few are entering. Very too late because we almost discussed about the properties. Okay, I'll share the screen. They show, all metals show a very strong tensile strength, whereas the non-metal shows very low tensile strength. And very important property, all metals are sonorous. They make very high sound, whereas non-metals doesn't show sonoricity. Except no exception for sonorous. If you think about sonorous, one example I can able to quote is glass. Glasswares will make sound, right? Only that will be the exception. Other than that, non-metals doesn't show sonoricity. So metals are having sonorous, and they are the non-metals doesn't exhibit this property. And other properties are, the metals are good conductors of electricity. The non-metals are very bad conductors of electricity, except graphite. All the metals are strong and hard. Non-metals are weak and soft. The metals can be stretched, bended because of ductility and malleability. The non-metals are brittle. When you go for trying bending and stretching, easily it will get broken down. All metals are good conductors of heat, whereas non-metals are bad conductors of heat. And hope everybody understood the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Hope everybody understood. Okay, shall I question on this topic what we discussed? Which is the non-metal which shows luster property? Which is the non-metal which shows luster property? I am waiting for your reply. Which non-metal shows luster? I am waiting for your reply. Which non-metal will shows luster? Iodine, graphite, silicon. Correct answer, Priyanka. Okay, Revati, silicon. Actually, generally I told, because when we move on the sand is the best example for silicon. So it shows luster. It has a shiny surface, but it's not given in the material, right? So it is always best to answer as iodine. And then second option graphite, and the third option luster, silicon. Okay, all of you remember, it is always best to answer iodine as the first option. Okay, yes, everybody answering correctly. What I told, same thing I am getting the reply, but always remember, iodine should come at the first rank while answering the luster. Okay. Okay, my next question is, all metals are solids at the room temperature except few exception cases. Do you have any idea which were some of the metals which exist as liquid? Which exist as liquids? Yeah, everybody answered correctly. Okay, which is the liquid metals? Yeah, correct answers, correct answers. Yes, Revati answered as mercury. Very good answer, Revati, good. Mercury is a liquid. All metals are solids, but mercury is a liquid. Yes, everybody answered correctly. Priyanka, Varalakshmi, everyone answered correctly. It is mercury. Yes, all of you answering correctly. And even gallium. Gallium is also liquid. Okay. Okay, we'll discuss on another point. All metals are having very high melting point. It takes very long time to melt into liquid. Okay, all metals will have high melting point, but there are some exceptions. That is, gallium and cesium. Gallium and cesium have low melting point. They can melt easily when you keep them in your palm. When you take it in your hand, palm, easily it will get melts without any heat. So, gallium and cesium will have low melting point, whereas all metals will have high melting point. Gallium and cesium having low melting point. Okay, clear? Okay. My next question is, which are the allotrophic forms of carbon? Which are the allotrophic forms of carbon? Which is considered to be the hardest natural substance of carbon source, which has high melting point and boiling point? Which is that example? My question is, which is a carbon compound, allotropy of carbon, which is very hardest substance having highest melting point and boiling point? Yes, it is Revati. Answered correctly, Revati. Good, Revati. It is diamond is the right answer. Well said. No, not gold. Gold is a metal. I'm asking carbon source. The source of the carbon. Non-metal. It is a non-metal. Bhargavi, Nandita, Varalakshmi, Tejashwini, Manjunath. These participants answered correctly as diamond. Good, well said, well said. Because till now I am speaking on metals. Suddenly I changed into non-metal. I didn't mention it as non-metal. I told it as allotropy of carbon, which is very hard, which has got a high melting point and boiling point. That is diamond. It is the diamond. Okay. One more question. The other carbon source and also allotropy of a carbon which conducts electricity. These are very, very important for your board exams. Okay. The carbon source which can conduct electricity. I'm waiting for your reply. Diamond is right answer for the previous one. Now what about the carbon source which conducts electricity? Yes, it is Priyanka answered correctly, graphite. Okay, Revati, no problem. If you are so good enough, definitely I'll appreciate. Okay, Revati? Yes, it is Priyanka and Revati answered as graphite. Very good answer. And now, you all told diamond as a hardest natural substance, graphite as a good conductor of electricity, right? Now, my question is, diamond and graphite is a metal or non-metal? Yes, Veda, Nandita, very good answers. Very good answers. Okay, my next question is, diamond and graphite, is that metal or non-metal? I'm waiting for your reply. Gangotri, it's wrong, Gangotri. Yes, Priyanka, it's correct. Revati, wrong. They are not metals. We completed the topic carbon and its compound. Carbon is a non-metal. If you think that the graphite can conduct electricity, it doesn't indicate that graphite is metal. Just now we discussed graphite is exception case under non-metal. all nonmetals are bad conductors of electricity. Graphite is exception. What does that indicate? What does that indicate? Yes, those who answered non-metal, very good answer. Yes. Many of you all answered correctly. Carbon is a non-metal. These are very sensitive questions. So you should be very conscious on those things. Okay. The next point is there are certain alkali metals. Alkali metals. Which are the alkali metals? Lithium, sodium, potassium. These are alkali metals, and also they are very soft metals. They are so much of soft, easily they can cut with a knife, and they have very low density and low melting point. So that is lithium, sodium and potassium. Okay. Till now we discussed on some of the important properties of metals and non-metals. Now, let me move on to the chemical properties of metals. Under this, chemical properties of metals, let me know how the metals react with the air and how the metals react with water. Okay. If the concepts are cleared, shall we move on to the next concept? Or anything to be clarified regarding metals and non-metals? I'm waiting for your reply. Anything to be clarified? Shall we move on to the next? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Now, next we are going to discuss the chemical properties of metals. First, let me know what happens when the metals are burnt in air or when the metals are reacted in air. Okay, now look at the examples. All metals combined with oxygen gives rise to metal oxides. Copper oxide. That is referred as exam. I'll give a statement and then I'll see for the answer for your reply. Okay. When X, I'll give example 2x plus O2 arrow mark 2xO. Now, what is the color of 2x? When 2x plus O2 gives rise to 2xO. What is the color of XO? What is X? What is the color of XO? This is the exact form of your examination scheme. Okay. Now, I already shown example. I changed the question. 2x plus O2 gives rise to 2xO. What is X and what is the color of XO? Okay, now I'll repeat the same question. I'll repeat. 2x plus O2 arrow 2xO. Okay. What is X? What is the color of XO? I'm waiting for your reply. Okay, if so much of disturbance, I'll repeat the question. 2x plus O2 arrow 2xO. What is X? And what is the color of XO? Okay, I'll share the screen once again. I don't know how far you can hear, because many of you all saying that you all didn't heard the explanation, so you all cannot answer the question, right? Okay, let me confirm now. At least now, can you hear my voice clearly? Okay, at least now. Now can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, Priyanka, you did not heard my explanation, but right now, can you hear me? Okay, yes, ma'am, audible. Okay, without sharing the screen, I'll just explain. Okay, now, what happens when metals reacts with oxygen? Later, you can see the image. Right now, if I share the screen, you can't hear me. Okay, it's better. You just listen the explanation. You just give me answer. This is very important because this is the right pattern of asking the question in your board exam. Remember, this is the right pattern. Listen carefully. When the metals reacts with oxygen, it gives rise to metal oxides. I'll give an example. 2 molecules of copper, 2CO plus O2 arrow. What does it form? 2CuO. 2CuO. Now, 2CuO is a copper oxide. The copper oxide is otherwise called as black oxide. The copper oxide is also called as black oxide. Cleared? The example is cleared. Should I repeat? Because next I'm going to ask question. Okay. When I shared the screen, you didn't heard me, right? Okay. All of you clear with the example? 2Cu plus O2 arrow 2CuO. Copper oxide is also called as black oxide. Okay. Now my next question is, in your board exam, the question comes like this. 2x. X is something. You want to name it as a metal. X is something. You should name the metal in the place of X. Okay. 2x plus O2 arrow 2xO. 2x plus O2 arrow 2xO. Clear? Now, the question is, what is X. What is the metal in the place of X? And what is the color of XO? What is X? What is the color of XO? This is very frequently repeated question in your board exam. I am waiting for your reply. What is X and what is the color of XO? Yes, Priyanka answered copper as X. Okay, good. And what is the color of XO? Yes, Revati, it is correct. X is copper. Very good. Yes, Kirti answered correctly. It is copper and the color is black. The color is black. Well said, Kirti. And even Revati is also answered as black. Priyanka also answered as black. Good. Nandita, good answer. Tejashwini Manjunath, correct answer. Naveen Kumar, who is under Naveen Kumar? Correct answer. Yes, all of you answered correctly. I hope you all understood the pattern of question. This can be applied anywhere. So they won't mention the metal, they'll give as X, Y, Z, something like that. And also, we have to know what is the color formation when it reacts with oxygen finally. Okay. Now, shall I share the screen? I don't know how far the voice is audible. Shall I share the screen? Well answered, Arpita. And even under Prashant. Prashant, who is under Prashant? Yes, correct answer. Yes, all of you answering correctly. Good. Okay. Now I'm going to share the screen. I don't know the voice is audible or not. Again, if it is not audible, I'll repeat. Okay. Need not to worry. You just look at the screen clearly. The metals reacts with oxygen, it forms metal oxide. When the copper reacts with oxygen, it gives copper oxide. Aluminium with oxygen, aluminium oxide. Okay. So this is how the metals reacts in air. Air in the sense, you should understand it as oxygen. Air means oxygen. Okay, look at this example. This is very special example. Why it is special? You can see clearly aluminium oxide is reacting with acid, that is HCl, as well as aluminium oxide reacting with base, that is sodium hydroxide. So aluminium carbonate, aluminium chloride, these are the salts. I'll repeat the concept. The metal oxides reacts with acids as well as base to produce salt and water. Remember, salt and water. Such oxides, such metallic oxides are called amphoteric oxides. This is very, very important for your board exam. Very, very important for your board exam. Look at the image clearly. Okay, all of you heard what I told? All of you cleared with the concept? I gave an example. Aluminium oxides reacts with HCl acid. Aluminium oxide reacts with base, that is sodium hydroxide, and it forms salt and water. Both the case, when it reacts with acid, when it reacts with base, it forms salt and water. Such oxides are called amphoteric oxides. Such oxides, metal oxides, are called amphoteric oxides. Yes, it is cleared. Now, my question is, give an example for amphoteric oxide. Give an example for amphoteric oxide. Give an example for amphoteric oxide. I am waiting for your reply. Amphoteric oxide, which can react with acid and base to form salt and water. I am waiting for your reply. Give example for amphoteric oxide. I am not getting any reply. This is so important. I didn't get any reply. It's so important. Okay, I am waiting for the reply. Give an example for amphoteric oxide. Yes, Revati answered as aluminium oxide and zinc oxide. Very good answer. No, Priyanka, it's not aluminium. Aluminium is wrong answer. Aluminium oxide or zinc oxide is the right answer. Revati answered correctly. Very nice, Kirti. You gave the equation. Very nice of you. Aluminium plus HCl gives rise to aluminium chloride plus water. Very good. Yes, Tejashwini Manjunath, correct answer. It is aluminium oxide, zinc oxide. Correct answer. Yes, all of you answering correctly. Good. Varalakshmi, it's not aluminium. Wrong. Yes, aluminium oxide or zinc oxide is the right answer. Shreya, wrong. If you write it as aluminium, it's wrong. Yeah, Nandita, Archana, correct answers. Bhargavi, wrong. Naveen Kumar, very good answer. And what Madhavi is going to represent? Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, in the sense, what is okay? You didn't answer. Okay, now I'll repeat the concept. Amphoteric oxides are metal oxides which react with acids and bases to produce salt and water. Example, aluminium oxide with HCl forms aluminium chloride, water. Aluminium oxide plus sodium hydroxide forms sodium aluminate plus water. So, this is very important. You want to write both the equations with HCl and sodium hydroxide, acid and base. Then only you can call it as amphoteric oxide. The best examples are aluminium oxide and zinc oxide. Okay? Cleared? Shall we move on to next one? Some will dissolve in water, and that the metal oxides which dissolve in, right? I'll repeat. Metal oxides are insoluble in water, but few metal oxides look at the example. Metal oxides are insoluble in water, but few metal oxides will dissolve in water. Which were those metal oxides? Look at the example. Sodium oxide, potassium oxide. Sodium oxide, potassium oxide, and you can add one more. Just 10 minutes back we discussed alkali metals, right? I gave example for alkali metals. Which are the alkali metals? Lithium, sodium, potassium. They are so soft they can easily cut with a knife. Remembered those examples? See, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, even lithium oxide. These metal oxides can dissolve in water to form alkalis. Alkali in the sense, remember, the bases with the bracket AQ, aqueous state. Aqueous state in the sense, dissolved in water. AQ means aqueous. Aqueous in the sense, dissolved in water. Okay. Now, sodium oxide reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide. Potassium oxide reacts with water to form potassium hydroxide. Cleared? These are called alkalis. Sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide are the alkalis. Okay, all of you cleared with these concepts? Now all of you heard? All of you cleared? Okay, if it is cleared, shall I ask question on alkalis? All of you cleared? All of you cleared with alkali? Okay, my next question is based on alkalis. Do all metal oxides soluble in water? Do all metal oxides dissolve in water? Say yes or no. All metal oxides, do they dissolve in water? I am waiting for your reply. Do the metal oxides all dissolve in water? Kirti answered as yes. All metals will dissolve in water. Kirti, it's wrong. It is no. So, Archana, Revati, Priyanka answered correctly. It is no. No. all metal oxides doesn't dissolve in water. Only few metal oxide, that is sodium oxide, potassium oxide and lithium oxide, will dissolve in water. Hence, they are called as... Yes, Kirti, correct. Some will dissolve in water. What are they called as? Yes, correct answer, Kirti. Now, what are they called as? Yes, all of you answering correctly. No, no is the right answer. Now, some will get dissolved, and what they are called as? Yes, it is Priyanka answered alkalis. They are referred as alkalis. Yes, Kirti, good answer. Kavya, very good. Good reply, Kavya. Yes, Revati, correct. Kirti, correct answer. Varalakshmi, correct. Archana, Prashant, correct answer. Good, good. Good answering, good answering. Okay. Today, we discussed some of the characteristics of properties of metals and non-metals and what are the exceptional case. And also, we discussed about chemical property. How do the metals reacts with air? Air in the sense, what is the indication of air? If the question is asked, what happens when copper reacts in air? What do you think that air means? What is the meaning of air here? I'm waiting for your reply. Yes, Priyanka, correct. It is oxygen. Very good answer. Yes, Revati, correct answer. It is oxygen. Yes, Nandita, Prashant, good answer. Aishwarya, good. Archana, Gauresh, correct answer. Kirti, Naveen Kumar, Darshan, everybody answered correctly. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask questions based on today's session. Okay. Okay. Wait for the questions. I'll just mute and I'll display the question. Let me see who will answer correctly.